This is a guy, I've never been more convinced of a guy's ability to be a great quarterback than I am of Jalen Hurts. I don't think there's any box he doesn't check. And they're screwing him up.
Like they did once.
You just said, he's got a different voice in his ear every year. There's no stability to what's going on. It's all different philosophies. No, there's got to be some stability. And I'm hoping the best thing that could happen to the Eagles this year is that he takes on a lot of the responsibility himself. And he goes, listen, I'm not going to let another guy do what they did to me last year. If I have to, I'll call my own plays in the huddle. I mean it. We have a better chance if he's running the offense than any of these guys, because he's smart enough and he's lived the game of football his entire life. And I feel terrible for him because he's good. He's a good football player.
Angelo Cataldi, right here with us here on the National Football Show. Angelo, now I'm getting it. I'm getting even more. You know, maybe you're part of it too. You build it up, and all of a sudden when you go, this guy's just not making it happen, man. He's just not making it happen.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm sorry I blew my cue today. I got my grandkids running around. Things are nuts. But let me just start. Dan, I said on your show a couple of times ago that the Eagles were going to win 5 games. So the schedule came out last week. I wiped the slate clean and I looked at every game. And without checking as I went along, I got to the end. 5. It's still 5. And this is very awkward for me because I have agreed since last time I talked to you to go on a trip with Eagle fans to New Orleans. I'm going on a trip with like 300 Eagle fans to New Orleans.
And you're still saying 5 wins.
One of the 5 is New Orleans. but New Orleans stinks. Come on.
So wait a minute. So yeah. Why are you still? Why has the needle not moved for you this offseason? Why has that thing not moved for you?
It's very, very simple. I'm trying to understand how a major sports franchise is going to upgrade off the worst collapse in their history when they have lost their #1 offensive lineman in history and one of their great leaders in Jason Kelsey, one of their great veteran defensive tackles in Fletcher Cox, and their best defensive player, Hassan Reddick. How are you that much better when you have removed 3 of your top functioning players from the roster? You got to replace those guys. Who's replacing them? Put Cam Jurgens out. He's the be all and end all. No. In order to be better than you were when you lost all those games at the end of the year, you need far better coaching. And yeah, you got different coordinators, but you just said it. They're both retreads. Frangio and Kellen Moore are retreads, and the head guy stinks. We saw what he could do when they were in trouble last year. When they were in desperate trouble, losing game after game, trying to hold on for positioning in the playoffs, did he have one answer? Now I think, in the offseason, he's got an answer. He's got nothing. Nick Sirianni should have been – if he had been fired, I would not believe 5 wins. But I looked at it. 10.5 Vegas has got. I'm even afraid to place the bet, Dan, because it's like theft. It's too simple. I mean, come on.
Do you think Nick Sirianni – okay, let's do this. Do you think he hired – there's a debate going around. Do you believe he hired Kellen Moore?
No.
I don't either.
Dan, put a gun to my head. No, there's not a chance he did. Yeah, I got a great idea, bosses. I want to give all of my authority up to everyone else. I want Kellen Moore to take the offense, Vic Fangio to take the defense, Michael, what's his name, to do the special
Michael Clay.
teams. Yeah, Michael Clay. And I'll just be there to employ the analytics that Lurie's son tells me to use. Yeah, what are you, crazy? No, he had no choice. At the end, what it came down to is, boys, what do I have to do to save my job? I'll do anything. And they went, good. We're going to put our own guys in there. We're going to hire more. We're going to hire Fangio. And you just sit there and you be our eyes and ears and do whatever we tell you. And that's Nick Sirianni. I watched him after the draft. I couldn't believe he was talking. Like, it was like I was looking to see if there was a hand behind him operating the ventriloquist dummy. He has no authority. What is he going to do? And if he did, Dan, if he had authority, because we know he had it last year, is that going to help anything? He couldn't fix it. Had no idea what to do. Couldn't figure out how to stop the blitz. How to stop it 10 times. Rushes right in the playoff game. Nobody touched him on their way to Jalen Hurts. Now he's going to learn how to coach. Come on.
No, I think he needs a job on the yachtsman's yacht. That's where I. That's where I sent him. But I want to. This has to come down, Angelo, to an organizational decision, because I mapped this out from 2000. Do you know you fired or have moved on 5 different defensive coordinators, 4 different offensive coordinators have either been fired or moved on. You have had 9 different coordinators since 2000. Right. So when people are talking about stability and giving Jalen stability to be able to develop, how do you do that when you're constantly rotating all of these different decision makers that the front office is making? They really don't value the position coaches or the coordinators enough to try to keep these guys intact for a couple of years.
And I think you've reached almost a point of no return with Hurts. His father's a coach. Guy knows the game. He knows the game. He knows how bad the coaching was last year. Now he's got another guy coming in. If things don't go real well, by the end of this next season, he won't want to be here because he sees his career. Dan,
you think he'll demand to be traded?
I know that he will know by whatever means he can do it without making a big public spectacle. He doesn't like that. He doesn't play that way. But this is a guy, I've never been more convinced of a guy's ability to be a great quarterback than I am of Jalen Hurts. I don't think there's any box he doesn't check. And they're screwing him up.
Like they did once.
You just said. He's got a different voice in his ear every year. There's no stability to what's going on. It's all different philosophies. No, there's got to be some stability. And I'm hoping the best thing that could happen to the Eagles this year is that he takes on a lot of the responsibility himself. And he goes, listen, I'm not going to let another guy do what they did to me last year. If I have to, I'll call my own plays in the huddle. I mean it. We have a better chance if he's running the offense than any of these guys because he's smart enough and he's lived the game of football his entire life. And I feel terrible for him because he's good. He's a good football player.
Angelo, how committed do you think the Eagle front office is with this team? And like you were talking about, and I'm talking about Sirianni, the buys at week 5. If they're 2-2, Packers, Falcons, Saints, Bucks, they're 2-2. You think they run through the rest of the year, or do they just do this? Let's make Kellen the interim. And if Jalen ends up having a good year, a really good year, they do some things, then you name Kellen Moore the head coach that you've always coveted, the play-calling head coach that protects you with having a coordinator for the next couple of years for the kid because he's a play-calling head coach. Do you think that's their back thinking on how that first month – how important is that first month of the season to Nick?
Right. I've got him 1-3. All right. I got him 1-2 at the bottom.
He's fired.
Maybe. Here's what I'm pretty sure. 0-4 coming off losing 6 out of 7, right? That's losing 10 out of 11. Fired. 0-4, he doesn't survive the bye. All right. 1-3 probably doesn't survive the bye because these are not that difficult a group.
That'll be 2-9.
That'll be 2-9. That's the crossroad. The fact that it comes that early, the guys that run the team, right? They have no allegiance to Sirianni anymore. If they see that the offense is performing pretty well and the defense not as good, they'll give the job to Kellen Moore. I don't think Fangio is going to be their head coach now, but Moore could be. And they may do it at that juncture. That's why when I was going through it, and by the way, it's all on my website. If you want to see game by game how I broke it down, it's at AngeloCataldi.com. And you'll see the whole breakdown. Go to blogs. And I think I did an honest thing of just going to each
How
game.
many wins did you come up with?
5 wins.
5
Just
wins.
what I did when I was Nostradamus on your show. I still only see 5 wins. Now,
You think the Cowboys sweep them?
What's that?
You think the Cowboys sweep them?
Yeah, Cowboys sweep them. Cowboys definitely sweep. The first one will be in Dallas, and that's where things are going to get real ugly if they lose that game and go to a bad record. That's
November
another
10th is that
real
game in
crisis
Arlington.
point in the schedule. It's about midway through the season, and they go to Dallas, and if they get smushed in that game, that's another point where Nick might have to squiggle off. He might be in trouble there again. I look very closely at that schedule, and they're going to beat the Giants twice. They're going to split with Washington, and they're going to lose both games to Dallas, right? And then they're going to beat New Orleans and one other dog team that I don't remember. But
do they lose to the Bengals?
They lose to the Bengals.
Rams?
Oh, yeah. And of course, and they're going to go all the way to Brazil and look awful against the Browns. They're going to go all the way to another country and stink.
If they have 5 wins, Angelo, what's that impact on Howie?
Oh, nothing. Howie, no.
It's like the Teflon Don. He's like the Teflon Don. He's like Nicky Scarface.
Never Howie's fault. Do you know why Howie will always be the guy? Because Howie will do whatever Jeff Lurie, the owner, tells him to do. Do you understand that? So all this is all about Lurie's ego. When they won the championship 6 years ago, Jeff Lurie sat there in the corner and thought it through and went, I'm really a football genius. This proves it. I've always suspected I was. And now with the championship, I'm a genius. So now I will command every aspect of the job, and my offspring will be groomed to take over when I'm in my dotage, and I'm too old. I'll have my son do it.
You think Julian's the next general manager of the Eagles?
Oh, Julian is next owner of the Eagles. Dad might step aside in 5 years and just hand over the entire reins to his son. What do you think he's there for? You think he's there because he's a nice-looking kid, which, by the way, he is? No, he's there because he's going to be the guy. This is the problem when you got an owner who wants to keep it in the family for generations. Because if the owner is overrated the way Lurie is, you got a problem. And Lurie is 30 years, 1 championship. Don't tell me what a great owner he is. That's not. And the guy that won it for me fired 3 years later.
Who's a better owner, Ed Snyder or Lurie?
Wow. The early Ed Snyder, it's no contest. The early Ed Snyder was for sure. But then Ed Snyder started to fall in love with all his players after they retired, and then he had them run the team.
Was that the Lindros time? Was that
around
Lindros?
One stiff after another. And I'm sorry to say it, but Bobby Clark was a lousy GM. Ron Hextall was a horrible GM. Paul Holmgren did not know how to run a franchise. He just kept handing the reins over to guys who played there. That isn't necessarily the best choice. So, but I'll say this. Snyder was a hell of a lot more accessible than Lurie's ever been, and a hell of a lot more honest, way more honest than Lurie's ever been. And, at some point, I may not be alive to see it, the city will finally realize that Jeff Lurie is not that great an owner, and that this has been
you think he's underachieved? You think he's underachieved?
Oh, yeah. It's 32 teams. You have one championship in 30 years. The simple math is right now you're about breaking even.
Yeah, but you know what, Angelo? I've learned about some of your new wave Philly fans. They look at Jeffrey Lurie and think he's a really great owner.
Yeah.
And I'm like this. So you guys are rooting for silver medals in 17 and 17 in the postseason? I thought that was a city that revered its championship teams and we're going for the gold medal all the time. They think this guy's one of the best owners. They think he's one of the best owners, if not the best owner in Eagle history.
Well, they use a lot of different arguments. He's been good in the community. Nobody's going to argue that. He's been good with, the
autism,
the green stuff. He's done a lot with that. I'm not going to take that away from him. But I'm a Philadelphia sports fan. That stuff is totally secondary to me. It's how much did you win? Did you win enough? And he kept me interested for all these years. That I appreciate, but he didn't win enough. And the last few years, especially since the championship, he has proven to be a detriment to the immediate future of the franchise. The fact that he gets
in the way too much.
I have still not gotten over getting rid of Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson is coming to Philadelphia this year. The Jaguars are playing the Eagles. And do I have to tell you who I picked in that game?
11-3
right?
At Lincoln Financial. The Jags will roll. I actually have them losing that game too. I have them 9.
The game.
Yeah, you know what? I'm still going to stick with, I could see them between 7 and 9, but I'm leaning more towards 7 wins. I got 7 wins.
Well, you're very generous, and I really applaud your generosity. What I don't think you're taking into account is if they get off bad, the sink's going to go, the ship's going to go right down.
Well, here's something to think about, Angelo. Yeah. Look at the first 13 weeks. The first 13 weeks, they're only in Philly 4 times.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the first month, they're only in Philly once.
Yeah.
Then you go through this stretch. You're in New Jersey, not that crazy. Cincinnati, Philly, Arlington, Los Angeles, Baltimore. So you're going to be on the road during that time with not a lot of depth, especially on your defensive side. I think this is going to be a team that's going to suffer from the war of attrition because it's not as deep as 2022.
No, not as deep for sure. And don't lose sight of the other fact. And I know none of this rings happy with the Eagle fans. I understand this, but guys, you got enough people out there kissing ass. All right, you listen to Dan because Dan tells it to you straight. No, this is not going to go well this year. You better prepare yourself for that right now. I just told you, no Kelsey, no Cox, no Reddick. You're not going to be as good as you were last year, and you had a historic collapse. It's not going to happen.
Wait a minute.
It's not going to happen.
Bob Lang, I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you after I'm done with Angelo, Bob Lang.
No. You know when the Eagles never called, Dan? When I was right. They never called at the end of the year. Sorry, I was squeezing you all year. Yeah, we sucked. That's right. We lost 6 of the last 7. They didn't call you that. They only called you when they won a big game or something.
By the way, I don't know if your wife told you. I had a conversation with her.
Oh, really?
So I go on. Get this, folks. Angelo's he's going to go, what? So I go over to like Instagram, and I go like this, and I get I go, is this Angelo? No, we don't allow him on social media.
She did. Yeah, no, she's right.
She goes like this. No,
right.
Daddy, we don't allow him on social media. This is his wife.
Because he's a grouchy old man who's liable to say something stupid.
No doubt about it. Angelo, tell folks where they can find you and where they can get your fabulous work. And tell them what you're doing. You're going on a trip with Eagle fans, right, to New Orleans as well. Yeah,
we're about to announce that. I'll let the guy who's in charge of it, Vince Rizzuto, do the announcing. I'll be going with Hollis Thomas stuff, and that's on September 22nd. We're going to hit Bourbon Street and the Bayou, and we're going out to see the Eagles win one of their 5 victories this year. How fun will that be?
You better bring a big per diem money there for Hollis.
Oh no, believe me. I'm just hoping the people going on that trip aren't reading my website right now. That's AngeloCataldi.com, because they're going to go, oh, no, what am I going with this guy for? He's a downer. He's awful. What are we doing here? But
Make sure you get the book.
The book
also,
is
too,
great.
how's the audio doing?
The audio is doing phenomenal. The book has just been fantastic. And the people that are going on the trip, I'm personalizing a copy to each and every one of them. And that's like 300. That's going to be a lot of work. But I don't mind, because those are my people. And I don't want to let them down with all this negative talk. But guys, reality check. You lost 3 foundations of your team, and you still got a bad coach. Not a good year.
I don't know how these people, they live in denial, Angelo. They can't see that you have an inept coach, an inept leader, and you're relying on a guy who has been fired two times in the last 2 years as your coordinator to turn Jalen around, and a guy, Vic, who's never won a Super Bowl. He's been a good coach, but has he been Jim Johnson? Has he been Mike Zimmer? Mike Zimmer won a Super Bowl when he was with the Cowboys in the early days, when he was with Jimmy. I'm like, I mean, these coordinators are an upgrade from what? Inexperience? Dan, that's where I'm at with this.
I got to say something about this Fangio out there, because a lot of people see him as a savior also. So he did the 1 year in Miami, right? And then the Eagles indicated an interest in bringing him here. And the Miami Dolphins said, oh, somebody get the driver, take him to the airport. You got him. He's yours. And then the minute he left, all the players said, thank God that guy's out of here. They didn't like playing for him at all. These guys that they brought in are definitely upgrades over the horrendous coordinators they had a year ago. But not enough of an upgrade. Yeah. These guys are both, you said it, damaged goods. They only look good in comparison to the stiffs they're replacing.
There's just, I don't see championship coordinators here. Angelo, go back to babysitting. Thank you so much for taking time out of that. I really love you all the time coming on our program, man. You always find time for me. Thank you, my friend, and I appreciate it. And you're definitely a mentor of mine, man. I really appreciate you so much.
You are running laps around my best work. Dan Cilio, you are the #1 guy talking football in America. #1. Anybody who doesn't think that is not paying attention. It's an honor to be with you, Dan.
Thank you, Angelo. Have a great day. Tell your wife hello.
I will. Take care.
Bona fortuna to my friend. I didn't get that last one. What was that last one? I didn't get that. Hold on. I didn't get that. Excuse me? What? I didn't get that. Wait a minute here. I didn't get that. I didn't get that. Woo! Best in the world. How you doing? Let him gas you up. The wins. Hey, he's got, wait a minute. Know this. I at least have you at 7 wins. Hey, me and Xander completely disagree, but that's why we have Xander on. Xander believes that Nick hired Kellen Moore. And I'm with Angelo. Hey, come on in, man. Just take all my job responsibility, and if I do well, I'm fired and you get the job. All right. 13-4. Baby, let's go, Eagles. He's got the Eagles at 13-4. Me, Angelo's got 5 wins. I got 7 wins. Joseph got 12 wins. How many wins? Prince, how many wins do you got? Xander, by the way, give me the like total. You had them 9. Oh, yeah, 9. No, I said between 7 wins and 9 wins. 9 and 8. I do. 9 and 8, 7. I leaning more towards 7. But 9 and 8, I could see it. Yep. 6 wins. 13. Holy cow. Dude, guys, we need your help here. Big Sales needs your help in this hour. Want to get to 200 likes. Okay, guys? 200 likes. Okay? 73 I need. Let's go, guys. Do me a favor. By the way, I'm going to try to give you an opportunity, and I know we have a lot of people in South Florida that watch us too. A lot of our friends down there. You have a chance to fish with Jimmy Johnson. You have a chance to fish with Bill Belichick. You have a chance to fish with a bunch of people. University of Miami has asked me to promote a golf tournament or a fishing event, a fishing event we have down in South Florida. It's a big time deal each and every single year. By the way, what I should have did was I should have given some spots away on the program. You know what, Xander? We'll do that next time. We'll do that next time where we'll give, like next year, we'll give some seats away where you get free hotel room and you get an opportunity to fish. So we'll do that. We'll do that next time. All right. So hit the like button. We'll only stay with him. Dr. Spencer Kellogg is our friend, and it's in Isle Morada where Jimmy Johnson lives. So we will do that. That'll be at the bottom of the hour. We're going to reset. Yes, sir, boy. Great minds stick together. What was that last comment? The best on the planet? The best on the planet. And here I am on JAKIB. Just little old Sills. Just little old me. Little old me and Xander. Easy. I didn't say I was the best. I would never say I'm the best. You see, I'm humble. I come from humble beginnings. You know, I'm not really a bragger. I can't. Let me hit the like button. Please, Prince. I know. I don't even believe that bullshit. Hit the like button. Power Hour coming up. Keep it here. National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.